Hi friends from around the world. Let's talk about the bucks, about the money, which is one of my favorite issues, monetization and with patents, which has the most potential for me. So it will get interesting today. There are a lot of ways to do it. So I talked you through in the past videos on monetization for trademarks on one video and another monetization of the designs. I talked you through the possibility of spin-off and licensing and the sale and the other possibilities in REM, etc., other possibilities which existed. And I will not repeat them. You may well, if you want to have a global picture of the monetization, you may well listen to these other two videos in order to get a coherent view. Now, I will rather talk you through different points which are special to patents, and there are some. So it will be a bit intensive today, perhaps, but I think you will learn a lot and it will get interesting for you. Now, the first thing is there is a special issue with regards to pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceuticals, if you want a patent, you need, well, a patent application, right, and a granting a patent afterwards in order to get protected on the market against the competition. This we know already. But with regard to pharmaceuticals, to drugs, so to say, and vaccines or whatever, what you need is the approval from the Food and Drug Administration. In the US, the FDA, but in your home jurisdiction, it may be whatever drug authority you may have. You need them in order on board, in order to the green light from them, the approval of them, in order to go on the market and marketing that new product, that new drug of yours, which has a patent, right? So these two things. Now, what happens with this food and drug approval, the drug authority approval in your home jurisdiction? Well, it takes time. And that is what makes it difficult. In patent, what do you have? Yes, you have 20 years, right? 20 years, which is what you have. That is no renewable, so you have 20 years and that's it. And then it's over. Then it passes on to the society and everybody can freely use it. Now, with these clinical trials, which is necessary for the drug approval, you consume probably 5, 6 at an average, I think 7 years for vaccines, for example. Well, the one of COVID was a bit special, but in general, there are 7 years or so what you need to prove with phases of clinical trials, from animal trials to limited human trials to massive human trials, etc., so that the drug authority can conclude that there are not serious side risk in giving that drug to the people, prescribing that through the doctors, through the health insurance system of your country. So that is the issue here. Time consuming, so 7 years. If you put a patent from the beginning and the drug in parallel from the beginning, because you don't want to lose a possibility that you don't get the patent due to prior art. So you have to react on the patent side already quite early, so to say. And you get time consuming through the drug authority, which needs more information, more documentation, more trials, and so for the pharmaceutical in these cases, in order to compensate for the years of loss of years, so to say, for these drug approval, you get a bonification of maximum 5 years in Europe. So that is my message. For compensation, you can get a extension of 5 years of your patent. So instead of 20, it may go up to 25. But it doesn't mean that you have 25 years of marketing of exploitation. No, it's just the trade-off because you lost already perhaps more, 7 years, so you have less than 20 years. So you lost already some time due to that special situation. Okay, so the next one is patent linkage. It is also a kind of, it touches also on the timeline, and it gives you also some possibilities to not to get hurt and efficiently monetize on your product. So the patent linkage, you may have heard of it, and in Europe we have it, and you may have it in your home jurisdiction as well. You can look it up. So the patent linkage has to do with the expiry and the upcoming generic company. So after the 20 years, you know, expiry of the patent, and any generic company, they can come up with the same product, different name, but without any paying license fees, etc., and probably lower price. So due to they do not have to do any research, so it is clear on the market and they can use it. They have not to pay any royalties, so that is lower in price. So they come onto the market, but they have to go through the FDA's, through the drug authority again, right, for their new drug, so to say. It is a new company, and they want to have the approval for marketing that drug. It may go a bit quicker than the other one, but still they have to go through this process. And what they do is they go before the patent expiry, they go to the drug authority and ask for approval. So that may take some time, but often they get the approval perhaps before the expiry, and they start marketing their product, although the other product is still on the market. The marketing can be a possibility, not the sale. So in order to avoid that, the patent linkage gives a community channel between the drug authority and the patent office, so that the generic company, the generic user company, cannot start marketing before the expiry of the patent. So it gives you a possibility to monetize better and more efficiently on these 20 years of patent validity, right? So there are some other possibilities on monetize the patent, and that these are not limited to precisely the pharmaceutical industry, and which are, well, how to say, you have the 20 years, and when you approach the 18 years, the 19th years, or the 20th years, so when you approach them, you get more intensive on your marketing efforts in order to anchor into the brain of the consumers your trademark. So you have your trademark, right? The patent is one thing, the patent is the product. But the trademark is the name you put on it, your origin, the business identifier. So you want to anchor into the brains of the doctors, of the consumers, of the patients. You want to anchor their name. And then you want perhaps lower also the price after the expiry of the patent. And in order to incentivize the doctors and the consumers to ask for their product rather than for a generic product which will come new to the market, right? So if the price difference is not too much and they want trust, the business identifier, your company, you have done it through 20 years, so probably this will prolong, this will extend into the future your moat over the competition, although you don't have the protection of the patent. So aspirina, from Bayer probably got to the point where it has become generic. Generic in their mind, I have headache, aspirina. So they would not go to the, what is it called, AAS, I think, that is a generic, which is cheaper, a bit cheaper, I don't know how much, but a bit cheaper than the other, and has the same composition. But it is anchored in the mind that aspirina, etc. So that was a possibility to extend, so to say, your grant into indefinite future, if you want. Now there's another possibility, and this is linked rather to bad practice. I'm saying it up front, I would not encourage you, but it is on the market, so you have to live with it. And if you are a generic producer, you will have to live with this as well. What is it? So you have 20 years, right? Not renewable. So it goes on to the expiry line, and after 20 years, it's out. So what you do is to look for a different product, slightly different product, but not too much different. Not, well, there must be novelty inside, because if you want to have another patent. So the game is to build another patent on top of the previous one, of the expiring one, in order to extend your mode, your product, into another term of 20 years. You got me? So it is a kind of, well, I have to convince the examiner of the patent office that this is a new product, that the prior art, which was my previous product, is, well, that's something different. It has nothing to do with that product. If you can convince it, well, perhaps it is a new product, I don't know, but you have to go this line. And there are some workarounds of companies who are playing this game. Perhaps they will be rejected, and, well, I tried it, but if they are able to convince the examiner that this is a new product, then they would extend, so to say, their mode or their advantage over the competition over the next, over another 20 years, right? So, another issue, the patent pools. That is also something which has nothing to do here with other trademarks, so it is special to patents. Patent pools exist as a necessity for the business. I would say there are so many patents out there that you can't control who is who, and if you want to go into negotiations one by one, so you have to go through, you have a product, you need 5 patents from 5 different companies. So how do you manage it? And you get an agreement with 4, but the 5th is reluctant to give you, and what is your reaction on this? So that is becoming very difficult on the market, and then the valuation of each patent and the royalties, how are they calculated, that's still another issue. Now the patent pools, they are to a certain extent a solution for it. You can go to one stop only, to one shop, and you got the patents you want, because the patents pools are somehow specialized, and they get some packages. They know the industry they are in, and they want to offer for that product line. They have all the patents necessary, and they can give you a good price for a license or whatever it is, and so you can use it immediately, rather than entering into long negotiations with whatever patent holder you may be faced with. So this is a possibility which is being given to you for acquiring licensing rights, or acquiring the patent itself. That is also a possibility. Patent pools, they also sell, right? So this is one possibility, and there's one possibility also to monetize yours. So you may want to give it to the patent pool to manage, any licensing issues or to put it into whatever package the patent pool has in order to offer. So that would be also a possibility for you to monetize on that. Patent in rem, that is another possibility. You need cash and you don't have you have a bank which you're working with, and you give him the patent in rem, and you get the cash flow back, so the credit back, and it is backed by the patent. So that is a possibility. But I want to come to tokenization. Tokenization, that is also very special to patents, and tokenization is something which is, I think, one of the big macro trends you are seeing on the market right now. And it has to do, yes, with blockchain. Blockchain is, well, the ledger with the blocks, one after the other, right? Immutable, encrypted, transparent, on an open software, unhackable, and which, well, it gives you that possibility of smart contracts with Ethereum, with Cardano, or with other crypto companies which are out there and offer that possibility. So you would the patent, it could be tokenized. Tokenized could be a license, it could be one-shot use, it could be whatever you think it is out there. And there are two advantages of the tokenization of patents with regard to the system we were used to. So the patent is something which you don't have really until it's granted, right? And it takes, 2 years or so, or maybe take even more if there are some expertise necessary in order to get that patent. Now, with the tokenization, you can make a smart contract once you have filed a patent. So from the very beginning, and I told you in the last video that the patent that has a big value from the first day, not like trademarks which become valuable over time with a goodwill on your balance sheet. No, it has from the very beginning, it has its full potential. And on the contrary, as trademarks, probably it will get down the road once the 20 years gets to 10 years or even less, or the technology evolves in a way that it overpasses your edge on the competition. So you can make a smart contract. And what is a smart contract? Well, smart contract is an auto executing contract. So you don't need a trustee in the middle. When I was younger, I worked with letter of credits. This is a bit the same thing. Letter of credit. So you have a letter of credit, you present it to the bank, and you get paid independently of the other party if it says yes or no. So you get a trustee in the middle. Here you don't have a trustee, not even necessary to have a trustee in the middle, because if the condition which is written in the smart contract is being presented, could be a document or whatever it is, then automatically you receive your funds because the smart contract is on the blockchain and automatically is executing what has been agreed between the parties. So, and you don't need lawyers in the middle. You don't need the litigating against whomever in whatever jurisdiction and with lawyers and expertise, etc. So it is a good thing for you can do it from the beginning. The first moment you can have a monetization of the patent, and you have the possibility to reach what? What? Guess what? Yes, the global audience, because there are out there you have applications which have a kind of auction sites, and you can go on the auction sites and you have a global audience on your mouse click. How does sound that to you? So that gives you all kind of possibilities, what I want you to be aware of. Think of the NFTs. I talked about NFTs marginally in some of the videos. I will talk on NFTs, on the monetization of copyright. That will be in the future. But this is the kind of idea I want to transmit to you. I'm too old to explain you the nitty-gritty of these technicals. I'm too old, and I'm on top of it, I'm a lawyer, so that is not the one you want to hear out with regard to technical details. But this can be explained by you, by any, or you find it on the internet. The important thing is you get the idea into your head. So thank you very much for this one. It has got a bit longer, but I think it's worthwhile. See you in the next video, which will be much less technical.